Good evening, everybody, and welcome to ILR1 Xbox for Season 6 for Round 1 of the season at the Australian Grand Prix. I am your commentator, Rapid6 or Dom, and it's going to be me alone on the commentary box for this evening, and we hope to get this season underway very, very shortly. This season is going to be incredibly competitive. We have some of the best drivers on Xbox, if not the best drivers on Xbox, and this could be an absolutely thrilling Grand Prix. We have many people who can compete for the victory, as we saw last week in that pre-season test at Hockenheim. So this should be an absolute cracker. A new update obviously recently put on the game, so everyone's been adapted into the new handling model and getting a feel for that. So again, it could have changed the pecking order, but I doubt that. So we have our favourites going into the season. So let's quick recap Season 5. So Season 5 champion, LCR Leopard. He was champion of Season 5. He isn't here today, from what I can see, so he isn't racing. I don't think he even signed up for the season, so he isn't around. But Tiro Litmus was second place last season by 30 points, and he went for the title until the last two races of the season, and he was incredibly upset losing out on that title that he really wanted. He really brought the fight to LCR Leopard over the course of last season, and he'd be wanting to take back the title that is rightfully his, in his opinion. VSR Syra, he's obviously another one to watch out for. He came third place last season, and he was super quick, and he has proven to be super quick. He is here today in the Alfa Romeo, and last week in Hockenheim he was super quick there, and we again expect nothing more but an incredibly competitive season this season, and he could be one of the guys who can go for the title. And my gosh, Joe in fourth place. He missed a few races last season, particularly in that middle stint from Spain all the way into Monza. He didn't start for a good 5 races. So for him, again, he finished 4th last season. It's still a good result considering how many races he missed out on. But this season, he's one of the best drivers on this game. And again, he is going to be going for that title. He's super competitive in everything he competes in. He's super quick and always up there at the higher end of the grid. So definitely one to watch. Oh my god, it's Joe. P1R Brown, he is not here. Obviously, he's not racing in the season, so again, won't count him. Marcel Rosberg in 6th place. He was super consistent, scored points in every single race that he pretty much finished, apart from that race in America where he DNF'd. Again, consistency is key over this course of the season, and the pad is favourable to this game that it was in 2018. So you never know. The pad users like Syra and Sir Rosberg could be right up the front of the grid if they can really push it that hard, and they could be ones to watch this season. And Rosberg with his consistency is going to be definitely one to watch in terms of just keeping consistent, and he could be definitely an outside shot. Then you've got other people. Saturday evening 44 in McLaren. Again, has that pace. He got on the podium a good few times last season. You know, he had the podiums at China, and then again at Austria and Germany and America. So Saturday evening does have that pace, and he can unlock that pace. Again, he's going to be super strong potentially, and definitely an underdog in this season. Other drivers you've got to look out for, so we've got Jason on 7F1. Again, he had a few races where he didn't start, but he did score points. And Jason, we've seen in other leagues, is super consistent over the course of the season. So he's definitely going to be one that in that mid-pack competing for some good points. And we've got Big Pirel João Pedro as well. Again, didn't see much last season, but in the test race we did at Hockenheim, he was right up there too. And you've got AVR Reynolds, again, a pad user. This season could really benefit him in terms of being able to score those points and actually get higher up the order. And then other people, we've got WOR Verstappen. He's another one definitely to watch. We've got MVP 0. We haven't seen, obviously, he wasn't in the race last season. So again, we saw from the test race last week that he was definitely there on pace. But we should be in for a bit of a cracker this season, definitely. And we've got plenty of drivers, some new faces, as you always have every single season, and a completely new, fresh order and a new season to kick off, and some great opportunities for many drivers who can really deliver this season. But we're in qualifying right now. It's a dry quali from what we can see, and the first engines are firing up. And we'll get the qualifying session underway, and this is where we'll see the drivers absolutely push to the limit. They're going to be on the limit with everything they've got, all the engine power, everything they've got from the ERS, and this season is going to be a big one in terms of management for ERS. ERS is going to be one to manage throughout the whole distance of the race, and we've seen where, you know, it is this game is much more punishing on that ERS system, so we could see more of a management race from all these guys. Australia, from what I've seen, it's not too bad on ERS deployment in terms of managing it, but again, these drivers will have to manage fuel. ERS, and overheating of the engine, and tyres. That's a big thing. So these drivers are fully and really are skilled in terms of what they have to do. And every single game, where the game gets harder, these guys have got to innovate and get better and get faster and faster and faster. And that's a tough job. And these guys have proven week in and every single game cycle they can develop and adapt. And these are the best guys on the grid on this game, probably for sure. So what we're going to do is get a few cameras out. We've got Hasov TSR Bastek out there at the moment. He's doing his outlap, and a few guys are already out there in this session. So quite a few on their outlaps at the moment. But let's cut to Stuzzy Evening. We've got some evening out there. We've got Sarah Rosberg out there in the Racing Point. VLRGT Surprise, newcomer for ILR, but we've seen him in other leagues like AOR. He is an almightily quick driver. He dominates the time trials pretty much. Him and oh my god, it's Joe. So he's definitely going to be one to watch this season in terms of going for that title. You've also got out there you've got some incredible names out there at the moment, and oh my god, it's Joe right there in the Mercedes. Again, that Mercedes lineup looks to be quite unbeatable. Joe and VLRGT Surprise at the Mercedes, those two are super quick drivers. They're definitely ones to watch for this title fight, and in general the Constructors Championship as well. I think it's going to be a very hard team to beat. Last time out, last week we had the preseason race at Hockenheim, and we saw CRG Morso and his teammate did a superb job as well. So definitely don't put down those guys in terms of pace. At the moment, everybody's just out there doing their out laps. Again, at the start of the session, you're not going to have the fast lap times at the moment. People will be putting their laps on, basically on that softer compound to get a feel for the circuit, put a banker on. Yellow's into the 2 into the 3. I wonder who that's for. No reason why. I'm just having a little look through. Who is that? Is that, I don't know who that's for. So the yellow out there is at the 3. But we've got some people on laps. So WOR Verstappen in the Williams is really going through at the moment. He's on that soft tyre again. So again, he'll be setting a banker on those tyres. Let's get a bit more data on there. Let's get tyres up. So you see a lot of people on that soft tyre already. So definitely people are pushing the limits on that. So let's pop on a bit of data in terms of outline. Let's do that. So at the moment, P1 on Braga is top on 20.0. Rosberg only on a 20.2. So those are the first two bankers. Let's see what WOR Verstappen can do out the last corner. Lots of oversteer as he rides the cab on the inside. And here comes across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 20.7. That puts him into P4 for now. Anybody else out there? We've got Joe out there as well on the fast lap, and VLRGT Surprise, who is nearing the end, actually in the middle sector right now. Actually, last sector indeed, actually. So he comes through the fast right-hander in 5th gear, turns it in nicely. Let's run on board with the Mercedes driver into the last couple of corners. Down in 2nd gear, short thing at the 4th. Now for the last corner, being patient on that throw, getting on that throw, and here he comes, the run to the line for the Mercedes driver. And where is he going to put him? It's going to put him at 19.7. So he's put down a big benchmark there, 3 tenths ahead of P1R Brown. But what about, oh my god, it's Joe. How is he getting on there? He is in the last sector at the moment. Flat out through the right-hander, well, lifting off actually in 5th gear, and now into penultimate corner, down in 2nd gear, actually down the 1st actually a little bit briefly. Now the last corner, and here he comes. Where is this going to put him on the leaderboard? Anywhere near his own teammate. Across the line he comes, and it's a 1 minute 19.982, puts him into P2. So it's a Mercedes 1-2, as you'd see in real life, and as you're seeing here. So we could have a bit of a kind of possessional season where we have these guys absolutely dominate the leaderboards and every single week. But there you go, there's our bankers. Down in the order, let's have a little look. Limitless is out there on an outlap, so he's one to watch. Syra is in the pit lane, so he's not going out as of yet. So he's not wasting anything in terms of tyres at the moment in time. But Limitless out there on outlap. Last season's runner-up would want to basically be right there again and hopefully compete for the title once again. And I'm pretty sure he can do. I mean, he was very strong last season, very competitive, and just overall very consistent last season. So definitely one to watch in terms of consistency over the course of the season is Tira Limitless. But everyone again kind of popping into the pit lane again, and They'll be going again. A 19 is pretty good on laps, but I'm sure we'll be going down to the lower end of the 19s by the end of the session as the track rubbers in. Limitless coming out the last corner to start his lap, and you know what, let's run on board the Racing Point driver. Teammates with ILR Rosberg. He starts his lap run, but now a bit of traffic ahead of him, so that should get out of the way. So braking just at the 100 meter board, down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely. Doesn't run it too wide on the left hand side, hits DRS, gonna have a bit of a tow from V-Sira on the right hand side, but he gets out of the way nicely. Brakes at the blackboard, down into 2nd gear, turns it in, patient on the throttle, down to the left part, keeps it in 3rd gear, now up the 4th on the exit. And now through this flat out right-hander, doesn't get on that curb at all, and he's looking pretty good. So not a bad first sector by Terra Limitless. Now into this right-hander, almost cuts that a little bit, but I think he's okay. And now through the flat out right-hander, now before approaching this very tricky corner, very tricky on braking, down into 3rd gear, wants to be careful on the throttle, doesn't want to run the curb on the left-hand side too much, but he's okay. This is a good run. And now through this left-hander before this very fast left-right section. And there he comes through the left-right, down into 6th gear, turns it in, and then into the right part. And then not too wide on the left-hand side, which is perfectly done by Terra Limitless. Hits the DRS, and down we go. And now brakes before the 50 meter board, down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely, doesn't run it too wide. And now down to this lift off in 5th gear, turns it in, doesn't run it too wide. And now into the penultimate corner, now down into 2nd gear, turns it in, patient on the throttle. Last corner now, patience, patience, and patience. Hits the DRS. Here he comes running it to the line for Terra Limitless. Where's he going to put him? A 19.833. That puts him into P2, and that's a pretty good lap time by the Racing Point driver. He's only, what, 800ths of a second off of Veloci Surprise in the end. So not bad by Limitless, and a very competitive lap time to get his banker in there. So superb job by him. Who else is up there? So P1R Brown's in the Williams. He's out there on an out lap. V-Sira is out there on a lap. So he's, the Alfa Romeo driver is on it right now. Let's go on board with him. Again, pad user should be favourable this season in terms of F1 2019. It's a much better game for the pad. And down to 4th gear again, very patient, looking pretty clean, and you know there's no problems in terms of oversteer. He's very smooth on that throttle pedal, so he's definitely doing a superb job. Again here, it's very tricky this corner in terms of getting the throttle, and you can ride that curve on the left too much, and it can really spin you out. So he's navigated through there pretty well. And now through the fast right and then left once again. Doesn't want to ride it too wide, which he doesn't, which is done pretty well there. Now into this right hander down into 3rd gear, actually, and then gets a good run through there. And then the lift off 5th gear, a little bit of understeer there for the Alfa Romeo. And now Protocol down into 2nd. This should be somewhere thereabouts, probably in that top 5. Last corner, let's see, run to the line for him. Where's it going to put him? A 1:19.8. That put him 2nd place ahead of Terra Limitless. That's a good lap there by Sira. And you know what? I do think there's a bit more time in that for him. So he's definitely, again, him, Surprise, Limitless, Joe, and even P1R Brown. Really close on paper in terms of pace. People who haven't set lap times like TSR Bastek. He hasn't done a lap yet. Fussy Ted, CRGA Zelchi, Jam Pancakes, and CRG Morso haven't set lap times. And Morso, again, another one of those who is super consistent over the course of a season. So let's see how he's getting on. Again, through this fast left-right. He, again, should be up there. We'll see. I mean, he one of those drivers that can be an underdog throughout the course of a season. Now through the right-hander, actually in 4th gear rather than 5th. So a bit different to other people in terms of different driving style, in terms of what gear. Now the last corner rounds it up. Let's see where it's going to put him. Hopefully, he would like to be in that top 5. Let's see. He runs to the line. It's a 20.2. That's only P9 behind Cyril Rosberg there. So not too bad, but would like to be much further up. And look how tight it is. If you think about it, from P5 down to P9, there's 3/10 separating it. So it's super close on paper for everybody, and one mistake can really cost you a load of positions in this tier. And we told you this earlier on the stream, is that how competitive this grid is. It is super competitive, and times are split by nothing, in effect. Again, 7 minutes to go in this session, and there's plenty more to come. Track is getting better by the minute, and as more people are on that circuit, track is rubbering in pretty quickly, so we'll see those times absolutely tumble by the end of this session. Let's go back to Vlog's Price. He's currently on pole for now. He is actually, I think he's actually on a lap here, so let's keep him ball with him. Nah, he's backed out of this. Is he gonna box it in? Yeah, he's gonna box it in. So he was actually on one, but he's boxed it in and called it a day. Joe, is he gonna continue? He will continue on a lap. So let's see where Joe can go on the leaderboard. Across the line, and he doesn't improve. He's 1.8 off, but again, he was actually on that lap. Jason has jumped up the order to 20.048. That's a pretty good lap by the Red Bull driver. Anyone else? Everyone's back in the pit lane. If I set up this 10th place, he's going to box it in. EVR Reynolds, how's he getting on? He's boxing it too. So a lot of people are kind of gone out on that soft tyre and call it a day on it. And then they probably may even stretch on it, put on a set of mediums for the end of the session and go for it. And I do think starting on the medium is the better strategy in terms of one-stopping this race. I'm sure it's possible on that soft tyre. Zelchi, how's he getting on? Hasn't put in a lap yet. Last corner now. Let's see, where is it going to go? Going to be there somewhere. Here he comes across the line. It's a 20.4. But he's invalidated the lap time. So unfortunately for him, he hasn't delivered on that lap. So not ideal for him. He hasn't set lap time. The same with Bastet. They're leaving it quite late in the session. But everyone is back to the pit lane. Limitless is the only guy out there. And you know what? I think he actually is on the flying lap here. Is he going to box it, though? That's my question. Is he going to complete this lap? Let's see what he does. Boxing or continuing? He's continuing on with this. So let's see where he's going to put the Racing Point driver. Is it going to be an improvement on his previous lap time of 19.8? Across the line, 19.8 once again. So super consistent by Limitless, but not an improvement at all. But I'm surprised he stayed out there. Has he got enough time to put on a set of mediums? He's going to have to really do a fast in-lap here to get on a set of mediums towards the end of the session. So it's going to be super tight for him. He's been probably one of the last people to set a lap time in this qualifying session. But everybody else has boxed it in, waiting for their moment. Same with Jam Pancakes. The only guy out there at the moment, obviously the only guys are Terra Limitless and Zelchi. Zelchi continues on, but I doubt he's actually on a competitive lap time, so he'll be boxing it in too. So the track has gone pretty quiet. Snazzy Evening's out on a lap now, so he's going to be doing his final run probably now, and a lot of people are starting to come to circuit. So Snazzy Evening, P8 currently, had a good old few podiums last season in ILR1, and had some pretty good pace, to be honest. So definitely an outsider in this championship, and definitely an underdog. So he's just on an outlap. He's now in that middle sector, so he's going to be one of the first ones to set his final lap time. But remember, if he makes a mistake on that lap, he does have another run at it. So this is a bit of a safety net in some ways, because, you know, if he messes it up, he's got one more lap at it. If he gets it right, you know, it's happy days. But he's on that soft tyre, so it looks like people are favouring that soft tyre to start with. So one stop should be possible on that soft, presumably. So it's as the evening. Penultimate corner. And then rounds up, needs a good exit for this last corner to set up the lap time. So here he comes, runs it up, DRS activated, using that ERS he's got, all that charge he's got. So here he goes, onto a lap, here we go, heads into turn one now, brakes up that under meter ball, down into 4th gear, turns it in, getting good exit through there, and some fantastic grip there by the McLaren. And now heading down, and brakes at that black board there, down into 2nd gear, turns it in at the 3rd mid corner, and now down to 4th, and now at the 3rd again. And then gets a good run out of there, and then through this flat right-hander. Don't want to ride that curb on the inside too much, otherwise it'll spin the car. That's the first step done, so he's down actually on his previous best by 300ths of a second. And now he gets through the right-left, lovely. And now through this flat right-hander, and now brakes at this very tricky right-left section once again, down to 3rd gear. Want to be careful on that throttle pedal. He's got out of that pretty nicely. Got a car ahead, the Renault, but that should get out of the way nicely. And now we're heading into the left-right section now, down into 6th gear. He's just down by 8 thousandths. Rises the curb on the left-hand side, but he doesn't spin out at all. Has a good run by Saturday evening so far, but he needs a good last sector to improve on his 8th place. So now through this lift off down in the 5th gear, actually 4th gear to get better front end. And now into the penultimate corner, down into 2nd gear, actually 1st gear. And now up to 2nd, now 3rd. Careful to throw out this last corner, rise it nicely, doesn't run it too wide. DRS run to that line. Where is it going to be for the McLaren driver? Is it going to be a 19? It's a 20.0, puts him into P6. So that will be it for him. He won't go any faster, and he won't go again. Oh my gosh, Joe is on a lap, and he's a 10th and a bit up. Velocity Surprise is flying out there as well. He's on a lap too. So current pole sitter, can he go faster than his 19.7? He's got no traffic ahead of him, so this should be the deal here. Here he goes through here, another left-right section. He's down actually in that middle set. This is not ideal whatsoever. This is not looking good for Velocity Surprise. It needs to be an absolutely incredible last sector, but he does have a lap to spare. Cars ahead, lots of traffic ahead for him. It's not going to do him any help whatsoever. Lots of traffic ahead, and you know what? This is not going to be an improvement for Surprise at all. He's boxing it in. That could be qualifying over, and it is qualifying over. But Joe is absolutely flying. Here he comes to the line. Is it going to be pole? It's not pole. It's a 19.770. It's 1800ths of Velocity Surprise in the end, and that is super tight, and he absolutely be annoyed and kicking himself because he was so far up in the end. Syra is out there at the moment. He's absolutely, I think he's actually on a lap. He's actually in P3 on 19.828. Is he on an improvement, however? He's down in the first sector. All right, Limitless, though. Limitless is out there too. He's starting his lap as well. So lots of improvements are inbound by many people below Surprise and below Joe, because those two have set their lap times and they aren't going again. So it's all eyes on Syra. What can he do in P3? Let's ride on board with him. Is he up in the middle sector? He's down by 76 hundredths of a second. So he needs a very good last sector. And you know what? That wasn't a great line through that left right. This might not be the lap for Syra to get on pole position. Here he comes now through the right section, down into 5th gear. A bit of understeer, but he's okay. Penultimate corner, down into 2nd gear, turns it in. Needs a very good last corner here. Can the Alfa Romeo split the two Mercedes boys? He hits the wall. He's gone out. He's cracked on it. That is not an improvement for Cyrus. That is over for him. He won't improve, and that would be quite annoying for him. Hitting that wall on the left-hand side is a very weird mistake. Limitless, though, has got traffic ahead. He's got his other racing point of Sarah Rosberg ahead of him. But Rosberg might give him a bit of a tow in, a bit of a helping hand. So through the last corner for Limitless, can he go higher than his P4? He's got a tow by Rosberg. This might be the lap, you know. Across the line, it's pole! Limitless is on pole position in Australia. And that is incredible. The Racing Point boys have worked a wonder here, because Limitless takes pole position. A fantastic last sector, an incredible tow by Rosberg, and that's put him in pole position, and he's taken it away from the two Mercedes boys in the end. What a fantastic lap by Limitless. Pole position, looked strong throughout and was consistent throughout in terms of pole laps, and he's put it on pole position here in Australia and takes the first pole of the season. Well done to Tiro Limitless there. Out of the blue, I mean, he's definitely a superb driver and he's super quick, but we thought all eyes were on Surprise and Joe, that battle between the two Mercedes boys. But Limitless has spoiled the party and spoiled the fun, and he is on pole position for the first race of ILR Season 6 for Xbox. There you go, Tiro Limitless on pole position, and we're in for an absolute cracker of a race. I mean, those top four, they're super quick. You got Limitless on pole position, takes pole for the first race of the season. Head of Velocity Surprise in 2nd place. Oh my god, it's Joe in 3rd. And P4 for 3 Syra. And P5 for P1 on Brown. And actually that is super tight. 3:10 separating the top 5. Saz Evening in 6th. Jason in 7th. Good qualifying from him. Carl Mitchell in 8th. 9th for BRL João Pedro. And 10th for Fighter Ted. And half a second separating the top 10. CRGA Selchi in 11th. TSR Basek in 12th. Jam Pancakes in 13th. Sarah Rosberg in 14th, and Morso in 15th, and MVP 0 in 16th, Joao Paulo in 17th, Reynolds in 18th, and Zappen in 19th. That is your order for the Australian Grand Prix. we'll be going into the race, and it should head by a formation lap. And look at that, it's rain. So there we go. Mixed conditions to start the Australian Grand Prix, and this is going to be a thriller. Whether it's going to be changeable and changing into dry conditions, we shall see. But it is light rain, it isn't heavy, but you never know, the rain can progress into heavier rain, and that mixes the strategy up. If the rain does get worse, this is going to be a fascinating race to watch. So everybody will be loading on their setups and preparing themselves for the start of the race. So here we go. Everyone's running up. We've got sort of 7 seconds to go now before we go for our formation lap. I believe it'll be our formation lap to start with, and then we'll be going into the race. And the start is going to be tricky for everybody because rain at the start is tricky. But there we go. Formation lap. Limitless leads them away on that formation lap, and you can see why people did the soft tyre run in qualifying. As it was wet, you know, there's no strategy in terms of dry strategy involved, so everyone really went for it in qualifying. That's super fun to see when you see everybody on the fastest tyres and the fastest compound, and it's absolutely going for it in qualifying. Engine mode's turned up, DRS turned up, fuel mode's turned up. It's the best, and it's exciting to watch. But Limitless is in the driving seat here. He's got a clear road ahead of him, and this is a great opportunity, being ahead of Surprise and Joe, but it's not easy. That top 5 is so close, and even people behind, Saturday Evening and Jason, Carl Mitchell, they've all got opportunities if these 4 or these 5 make mistakes. This is definitely, this could be incredible, be absolutely incredible to see. So in terms of, we have no idea who's going to win this race. It could be any of that top 3 on strategy, so Limitless really needs a good start here. If he gets away well, the race is definitely on, but we know how good the other 2 are in that top 3. And Syra on the pad he's got a very good opportunity as well. And P1R Brown definitely, he can really mix it up in that top 3 too. So Limitless rounding it up now, putting the heat in his tyres, and the track doesn't look too wet. It's kind of like in that transition between dry to wet almost, like it's just been running for a few minutes almost. There's definitely spray on the circuit, so it's definitely intermediate conditions. But I got my feeling that maybe it's going to dry up midway through this race. It looks like it will, because the way the wet, the intermediate conditions are. Here we go, guys. We are bringing it to the grid, and everybody's lining up in their grid positions. And to start the first race of ILR Season 6 on the Xbox platform. The nerves will be ticking, and it's important to get a great start to the season. Limitless has started off the season the way he's wanted to, and this is going to be it for him. He wants to get a fantastic start. This is really where it counts to start heading to turn 1. So here we go, revving for 5 red lights here for Australia. Round 1 of this season. It's going to be a cracker. Lights out, and away we go. And it's a pretty even start, but you know what? Surprise has got the jump, I think, on Limitless. Heading to turn 1, Limitless defends as much as he can, but Surprise will go on the inside. It's will to will between the 2 of them, and you know what? It's will to will. It's Surprise around the outside of Limitless. Limitless actually going to have the inside instead, but you know what? It's going to be Syra on the inside of Limitless. Limitless has not had the ideal start whatsoever. Joe down in the 4th place, not great at all, and Surprise, Limitless has gone round. He's spun round, he's out, he's actually onto the grass. He's lost so many positions, he's down the order. Our pole sitter has lost so much positions, but look at that, Surprise is literally drifting it through there, and look at Syra behind. Syra looking to put on some mighty pressure on Vlog's Prize at this stage, but it's Surprise who leads. Syra looking for an attack around the outside, trying to switch back to the inside if he can, but it looks like he's going to try good for the inside of Surprise, but you know what, he's going to bail out of that. It's a long race. But Limitless, it's not the start that Tira Limitless wanted here in Australia, but Syra is looking super quick here. He's in the 6th trim of Surprise, but you know what, there's no DRS at all in these wet conditions, but he's putting Surprise under some incredible pressure. Joe lost a position on the start as well, but Limitless is going to be so upset. I don't know what happened there. I think he got hit from behind by somebody. I think it was a McLaren from what I can see. But it's just not ideal. It wasn't a great start by Limitless, down into third, and that's compromised him completely. And it will mean a big comeback drive through the field, and that is incredibly infuriating for him, who he had a cracking pole lap, and you got a feel for the guy. But it's a Prix who leads the first lap, ahead of Syra behind him. Syra is thereabouts. He's keeping him honest at this stage, and you expect that from the start. Let's get up some data in terms of interval timing. Let's do it to the leader, and let's do it interval, and let's put on some do some detail. Let's get up some tires, so let's do that. But there you go. It's super strange. And you look at behind Jason and Rosberg going for it, and you know what? Rosberg going around the outside of Jason on the inside, and that's a superb move by Sir Rosberg up into 7th place, and he's right behind Vice Ted, who actually has had a pretty good start. So he's at the 6th place, and Carl Mitchell's in 5th. He's about where he was beforehand. There's a car in the background that's gone. Here is that. Is that João Pedro? It is João Pedro. He's in the wall. He's lost his front wing? Yes, it is. His front wing is completely gone there. Actually, no, it's not. He's fine. His front wing's fine. So he's lost some ground there. But Limitless down the order. And that is just not ideal for him. But turning our heads back to Surprise and Syra, and look at that, Rosberg now into 6th place. He's got past, I think that was, where's Carl Mitchell gone? Is he down the order? Is Carl Mitchell gone? Is he spun out? Carl Mitchell's definitely made a mistake there. So Rosberg now up to 6th, now Feist at the 5th, and now Rosberg will set his sights on Feist's head there for 5th place. But everyone's all sort of tight, and it's so easy to make mistakes. Look at Jason in the background looking at Rosberg again. So these two are really going for it at this stage of the race. And Rosberg really under pressure from the Red Bull driver. And look at that. Look at Bastek behind. He's putting pressure on too. Rosberg looking a little bit vulnerable here to Jason here. So here comes Jason. But you know what? If anything, Bastek's closer to Jason than Jason is to Rosberg. So here comes Bastek. He's looking for a move, but he's too far back to make a move to the turn 1. It's too risky at this early part of the race. The conditions aren't, they aren't dry enough. If anything, it's so slippery. You don't want to really make an error or a mistake at this point. And behind him is now in the 16th place, so he's making his way through. And now look at this, Jason and Bastek going wheel to wheel, and Bastek round the outside, looking to the inside for the next corner. Jason gives him the space, but Jason round the outside on the superior grip, stays in front for now, but that's let Rosberg break away a little bit. But look at WR Verstappen in behind him. Let's go back to that view, and he's headed back out of that for now. But it is tight. These four of them really are going for it. Rosberg, Jason, Bastek, Verstappen really are pushing each other really hard here. But at the moment, no one making that move. Let's go back to P1R Brown and Joe. Joe looking a little bit under pressure here from P1R Brown. P1R Brown looking pretty comfortable. Syra and Veloce Surprise have sort of bolted away at this point. So those two are kind of in, they've got a bit of a gap to Joe, 2.4 seconds. And I'm wondering if that's to do with Joe's new wheel. Joe's running a Fastech system now, instead of a Trustmaster system. So I'm wondering if it's that adaptability in the wet that he hasn't quite got hold of yet. Or it might just be him taking his time and just getting a feel for things. But at the moment, it's all pretty calm, and it is hard to overtake without DRS round here. Syra does a fast race, 35.598. That's a good lap, and both him and Surprise are trading lap times in the front at the moment. So those two are really pushing each other really hard, and it's about who can make the least mistakes in these conditions, because these wet, moist conditions are hard. They're not easy to drive in. You have a brake earlier, you got to go down a gear earlier, and you got to be careful on the throttle a lot more than you have to do in the wets, in the dry. So this is tough for these drivers. They really are. Have their work cut out. Behind, they've really ditched Feist's head there. So we've got kind of two gaps now. We've got Surprise and Syra in their own group, and we've got Joe and P1R Brown, and then Feist, Ted, Rosberg, Bastek, and Jason all in their own group there. And actually, Verstappen is right there as well, close behind. And Carl Mitchell's in 10th, and that battle for 5th place is, for 8th place is pretty tight, because Bastek and Rosberg are sort of bowled away from that group too. Once again, it's pretty tight between P1R Brown and Joe. Surprise has got the gap between himself and Syra up for a second. So he's kind of trying to get out of that sort of slipstream zone. But you can see the pressure on Joe is humongous. He's losing time to Syra ahead. So Syra's keeping well with Surprise, but he's really faster. He's a bit faster than Joe at this point. Again, look how close P1R Brown is, and this is about the pressure. The pressure in these conditions. If you got a car behind you in this battle, it's tight. Surprise, first up the race, 35.3. He's gone 1.6 now ahead of Cyrus. He's gone. He's vanished now. Might just be taking his time, but look at that. Oh, Joe's made an error, and here comes P1R Brown around the outside. Can he get around the outside? He can go around the outside. It's wheel to wheel between both of them. Is it going to be? It's going to be P1R Brown on the inside, but Joe actually got not a bad drive off the corner in the end. But look at this. Joe's really vulnerable here. Around the outside for P1R Brown. No, he'll try and cut back instead, but there's no room to go around the outside there, so we'll have to stay behind Joe for now. That was super tight there, and Joe made an error in turn 1, and it's looking like he's super vulnerable. You know what? He's really struggling in these conditions. You know what? I fancy Brown's chances here. He's looking pretty close now. In the slipstream, looks to the inside. Does he go for it? No, he does not. Yellow's into 1 to 2. Something's happened, but again, Joe's gone really deep, and he's under massive pressure. A great run by P1R Brown on the inside, heading into the fast left right, and you know what? This is the better line to be on, and he's got that move done, but Joe will try and cut back on the Williams here and get the better run on the exit of that fast left right, and he hasn't got the better run because he's twitched out of it on the curb, and P1R Brown is now into a podium position with a fantastic move, a great battle between the two of them, fair racing. Great stuff by P1R Brown into 3rd place, and he's looked a bit more comfortable than Joe, and Joe looking vulnerable, and if anything, Feisty Ted is starting to join in that battle with them as well. Let's look down the order. We've got Pancakes and either Reynolds and them lot really going for it here. They have been changing positions, and it's pretty tight between the two of them. And Pancakes behind Zelchi here, and you know what? He fancies his chances here. He's got not a great run out of the last corner, but he's not close enough to make any sort of impression on him, I don't think, in turn 1. No, definitely not. He's too far back to make any sort of move. And even if he did try it, it'd be too risky. But there we go, a little bit deep for Zelchi. And you know what? Zelchi's a little bit under pressure, I think. But again, it's not a bad exit from him, so it's not close enough for him. Does he go for it on the inside? No, he doesn't. Again, braking distance in the wet is far bigger than in the dry, so those sort of moves aren't really viable in the conditions. Again, he's looking for a move. His Jam Pancakes on CRG Zelchi behind more so an MVP 0, more so now into 15th, and he'll be ruining his race. It's not been great for him at all, and it's not been ideal. And same with João Pedro. It's not the start of the season that you'd want, and same with Stars Evening. It's not the start of the season that you'd wanted at all at this stage of the race. Let's get back to Verstappen and Jason actually, and Pancakes and Zelchi. Zelchi's made an error there. It looks like he's lost. He's now down into 12th place. Promotes Reynolds into 11th, and Reynolds with Jam Pancakes here actually. You know what? He fancies his chances here. He's got not a bad run, but I think he's just too far back for now. He's closing, but he's not there. He's not really close enough to make a move. So it looks like Reynolds will stay behind, but now Jam Pancakes is now into a podium, into a points paying position for now. Verstappen behind Jason, close. And it's been a battle or race, these guys. They've been close together so far out of the first 7 laps, so pretty close as Verstappen loses the rear end at the last corner. But everyone's sort of settling into their groove. The gap is starting to increase. Everyone's in their own race almost. So nothing quite mounting up to anything at the moment. Behind Reynolds and Jam Pancakes, looks like this title battle. This is the tightest battle on circuit at the moment, within 4 tenths for each other. But the gap between Surprise and Zyra has come down to 1.4, so that's come down a little bit. It was 1.6 originally, so that's come down. Joe is staying with P1R Brown, so P1R Brown hasn't completely checked out from Joe yet. So Joe is potentially getting into that rhythm now, and it's quite late into the race, but he is getting into that rhythm at this point, and I think he's going to try and come back at P1R Brown later on in this race. Reynolds again putting pressure on Jam Pancakes here, so he's looking for a potential points paying position here. Feisty Ted is completely gone from Rosberg, so Rosberg's 3.5 and his yellow is the 1. I wonder who's that for. Doesn't tell me. But yeah, you see that with their own groups, it's now Feisty Ted's right behind Joe actually. Joe, has he made an error or something? He's now 1.7 back. I'm wondering if he has. Feisty Ted's right over him. you know what? I think maybe Joe's made an error or gone deep somewhere again. Surprise, fast up the race again at 35.2. He's been really consistent in popping in those fast lap times. But once you look at this, Vice Ted's right. I think he fancies his chances on Joe here, because Joe is looking, again, very vulnerable. Not so confident in these conditions as he would be in the dry. But track is pretty much stayed the same. It hasn't really improved. It hasn't got better. It's not really got worse either. So I'm wondering if it is going to get better, because then again, it does look like there's less spray on the circuit. So it is early days into this race. We've got 21 more laps to go, but there's a chance that maybe it is starting to dry up a little bit, and hopefully we can get some dry running and a change of strategy. Limiter's down to 13th, so he's fought his way back through. He's doing alright. He still has an outside shot at the points, I think. And anything can happen in racing. We can have a safety car, you never know. Again, it's all kind of, everyone's in their own groove. The only people who are battling away is there's Vice, Ted and Joe. They're quite close. And Bastek and Rosberg, they're pretty close as well. Reynolds and Jam Pancakes, another battle to watch as well. So we've got a few battles here and there. Again, Vice Ted staying behind, and in these wetter conditions, it is hard to pull off an overtake. It's not easy. This track in general isn't really a great track to overtaking at all, as we've seen in real life, and even in this game, it isn't that easy. But DRS, if he had that DRS, it'd be super effective around here. Looks like that Vice Ted's really closed up on Joe here, so he might get, if he gets a good run at the last corner, he might have a good chance here. Let's go on board with him. He's quite a bit back, so no, he's not close enough at all in this attempt. Looking like, again, Joe is maybe feeling the pressure at this point in the race. He's made a few mistakes that might be ringing in his head, and it is about psychology of a driver. If you've made mistakes, and you don't want to be thinking about those mistakes from earlier on, but they could still be ringing in that head of yours. And he's made a mistake. You know what? Here he comes, Vice Ted on the inside, and he's done it. Vice Ted into 4th place. I was talking about psychology and how it affects if you make a mistake, and Joe has made another mistake. And now it's given a position to Ted now. Ted into 4th place ahead of Joe. And Joe is slipped back into 5th. And it's not ideal at all. And, if anything, Sarah Rosberg isn't far behind. He's caught up to those guys. He's now 2.3 back. He was sort of 3.8, 3.7. So he's closed up on that gap. And Joe makes another mistake. And I'm just running a bit of his equipment, that is. He's not used to that Fanatec system he's running. I'm not sure what it is, but he is really struggling at this point, and he's made a few mistakes in this race, but again, he's hounding Vice Ted. He wants that position back. Let's run on board with him. He's pushing really hard. He wants that back. He's in the tow. He's using the ERS. He's deploying it, but again, he's too far back for now. DRS has been enabled, so it looks like the conditions are get drier, and Vice Ted's gone a bit wider. He's looking under pressure, but again, Joe can't make that move, so it looks like we could be in a transition, and Vice Ted has made an error, and now Joe's back through again. Has people pitted. Cyrus in the pits now. Is he going to gamble and a set of slicks? What is he going to do? I think he might do here. So here he comes into the pit lane. Is that a set of slicks? It is a set of slicks. A set of harder compound. He's had to wait a little bit for the Toro Rosso, but he's away again. And this might be an inspired choice. Surprise continues on his intermediates in 1st place. He might not think it's dry enough for the slick tyres, but this could be, if it works, an inspired choice by the Alfa Romeo driver. Might be the one to watch here. So, surprise me. Surprise is actually out there right now. And it is drier. Yeah, I did think the track was getting a little bit dry. There's less spray out there. So, with DRS enabled, we could have a bit of a mixed strategy here. A lot of people gone on the hard tyre. A few people on that medium. So, people thinking they can go 19 laps on the medium tyre. I think that's a hard bet. That might be difficult. But the hard tyre for me would be the favourable tyre to go with, even if it doesn't get up to temperature as quickly as that medium tyre. But surprised though, he's got everything to do, and you know what, it is drier out there. He might be starting to struggle. He hasn't gone off yet, so it's not looking bad. Through here once again, and now needs a good last sector. You know what, it does look he's slow. I think he's slower than he was last time around. So here he comes. He's got to box it in, surely. He boxes it in. Has he lost too much time to surprise here? I'm wondering. Cyro has started to catch EVR Reynolds on this lap 2, but he won't be in traffic, I don't think. So surprise boxes, sets of hard tyres go on, away he goes again. Let's see where he comes out in comparison to Cyro. I think he might be okay. Syra is coming through out of the last corner, so I think it might be okay for Veloce Surprise. And you know what? I think it's fine. He's good. Syra's out of the last corner, and I don't think he's done it. So Surprise is okay. And if anything, the gap's sort of stable. Actually, the gap's grown. That might have been the perfect call by Surprise staying out the extra lap, whilst the guys on the hard tyres were getting the sort of the tyres in the right window. The gap is about 3 seconds. It was about 2.6 before they started pitting. So, yeah, the gap has stayed the same. But people have jumped people. So, Rosberg into 4th now ahead of Feisty Ted on that medium. So, maybe that tyre has worked for some people. Maybe not for Syra in general. Maybe Syra got some traffic on that lap. And lots of surprises got away with that. So, Surprise still leads that race. And, you know, is time to pull away again on that hard tyre. But bear in mind, again, there's still spray, it's still wet. The conditions aren't perfect as of yet, but they'll continue to get better and better as the race progresses. Limitless in 11th, so he's not far away from points, Limitless. And you know what? He's definitely got an outside shot at some points, and that's why you never give up. Even if you spin out the first lap, you still have a possibility, because racing, anything can happen in racing, and Limitless can get back in the points, I do believe so, on that hard tyre. Because Reynolds, I think he might struggle to continue the whole race in that medium. And the same with Rosberg and P1R Brown. I will be astonished if they do make it. And then even if they do make it, I think they'll be struggling in terms of tyre wear by the end. The Surprise leads this race by 2.7 seconds, and he's starting to increase that gap to Syra behind. The gap is pretty much where it was before. Syra first up in the race, 33.3. So the conditions are a bit faster than they were on that intermediate. They're doing early 35s on that intermediate, and there's only early 33, so they found 2 seconds in lap time. So the conditions are getting better. Rosberg 33.0, and you'll see these times will start to tumble as everyone starts crossing the line, because the conditions are getting better by the second almost. The Morse is now in the 13th ahead of Verstappen, and now Zelch is the fast up the race for 13.5. So again, another fast lap, so times are tumbling. Let's go back to Feisty Ted and Rosberg, pretty close, we're about 9/10 between those. And Bastek isn't far behind either, 8/10 behind him. And Jan Pegkake's 1 second behind, and now Limitless and Zelchi are battling away. Looks like Limitless has got that position, has he? Yes, he has. So Limitless now back into 11th. He was in 11th before, so I'm wondering if he's been in error, Limitless. That's strange. I thought he was in 11th before. I'm pretty sure he was, so he's made an error somewhere. Verstappen and Morse are battling away. Verstappen's lost a lot of time. He was in 10th place roughly, so he's lost good 4 positions when all this pit stops took place. But again, everyone's sort of in their own base now. Bastek is close to Feisty. Actually, Feisty actually dropped off Rosberg now 1.6. So now it's Bastek versus Feisty Ted. Rosberg's got a bit of breathing space. Veloce's price 30.9, so the times are really tumbling now. As Limitless and Sochi are continuing to battle like each other pretty hard again. Looks like Limitless is really struggling here. Let's keep on board with these two, because they are really scrapping away here. Rosberg, 30.5. Look at this. Bow! Look at that. Velci was really looking for him on the inside of the corner. But he'll hook up a DRS now. Out of the last corner now. Let's see what he can do. DRS activated. And here he comes. Reynolds, 30.4. Here comes Zelchi. Catching Limitless. Going to turn 1. Does he go for the inside? No, he does not. He waits for the next DRS turn to get a better run. He'll try and get a better exit. Bear in mind, Limitless is on the harder tyre, so Zelchi had the better, kind of more pace on that softer compound. He looks for a move, but can't get it done, so Limitless is losing time defending, if anything, against Zelchi here. He doesn't really want to be scrapping away too much with him. And he's closing up a little bit on Reynolds, but not by a great amount. Zelchi's keeping him really honest, really hounding the back of Limitless, and this must be really infuriating for Limitless, having been hounded down, and he's gonna have to defend a little bit more than he'd like to, and that when you defend, obviously you lose lap time because you're defending against and taking lines that you wouldn't normally take. Once again, Zelchi right there in the slipstream of the racing point, but not able to make a move into this left-right section at all. Surprise, fast up the race again. Really quick. DRS for Zelchi on Limitless, but again, too far back. to make any sort of move with PR on Brown and 29.2 on that medium tyre. So doing fast lap, and everyone's really going quicker and quicker as the track gets better and better. Looking like Limitless has got a bit of a gap to Zelchi now. It's still 7:10, so he's within DRS, is Zelchi, but looking like that Limitless is starting to turn it up a little bit now and trying to get away. But again, he won't get away completely because DRS will be in Zelchi's grasp for now. Ends turn 1. Again, he's closed up in the DRS, but too far back. He wants a good exit through here, and you know what? Again, he's not that far, not that close really. He'll close back up again, but he's just too far back to make a move into the next corner. So Limitless is under pressure, and it's 5.2 to Reynolds. Again, you expect that. Reynolds is on the medium, the faster compound. You expect that tire to be a bit better. But for now, Limitless stays in front. But let's go back to Bastek and Feisty Ted. That gap battle is still going on. It's within 0.5 of a second. So these two are really giving it some. Now through the left-right section once again. So here he comes. Now look at that penalties, CRG, Zelchi, freezing time penalty. A lot of people are getting them, but here comes Bastek. He's really close in DRS, but not close enough really to make a move. But he closed up so much in that DRS. You can see how effective it is on this game. And look at in front, you got Rosberg 1.8 in front of them. So these two are going to scrap away, and this is helping sort of Rosberg get away from this group and get in his own window. Yellow's in sector 2, I wonder who that's for. Is that for MVP 0? It is, he's out of the race, so not ideal for him. Once again, Bastek closes up in the DRS, but too close. He's not that close really enough, but he'll get a good run for turn 2. He's got a good run here, you never know. This might be the chance here. Slipstream, DRS, everything he's got. Good the inside, does he go for it? No, he does not. He gets out of it. They've got a bit of traffic in front of them. They've got João Paulo to overtake. Track. Again, not fast enough. Paulo gets out of the way nicely. As you got Joe behind in 7th place for Joe. He's lost out massively in the pits. And he's down in 7th place. It's not the start to the season that he would have wanted. Once again, here comes Bastek on Feisty Ted. It is pretty close. Saturday evening, 27.7. And so again, time's tumbling. Every single lap people post, they're getting faster and faster. And the fastest lap is getting killed every single lap as they go around. Conditions are getting better. Here comes Bastek once again on Feisty Ted. He's closing and closing to the inside. Here he comes on that soft compound. And he's got that move done. A great textbook move by him. And he's in to 5th place. Actually, he isn't on that soft play. He's actually on the hard from what I can see. Just the graphic on the TV cameras is incorrect. So he's actually on the hard tyre, I believe. Once again, Feisty Ted won't give up at all. He has a counter-attack on him. So let's see what he can do. But he's too far back, I feel. Has he used a bit of his ERS to defend? Not really. So they're pretty equal on the ERS deployment. Now Pello gets a freezing time penalty. Easy to corner cut around here, particularly that left-right section, because it's so easy to cut it. But if you do cut it on this game, you do actually lose the car, so you don't really want to be cutting it. But there's a few opportunities where you can cut. This next corner they're coming up to now, you can really cut this one, and it's not very good. Mitchell, 26.7, so again, time's tumbling, people improving, people getting faster, more confident in these conditions. João Pedro, 26.1. João Pedro is all the way down. Actually, where is he, João Pedro? He is in 15th place. So the places battles we've got on circuit are Feisty Ted and Bastek, and Jam Pancakes and Jason and sort of Avery Reynolds. They're our sort of close battles. Zelchi's a second behind Limitless still, so Limitless hasn't completely shaken him off. Again, behind Joe's now behind Feisty Ted now. So he's looking for an overtake, and he's definitely got to be a bit more confident in these conditions, but it's not ideal in comparison to his teammate, you know, and he's not great. Now Syra, fast of the race, 26.0, he's going for it now, so gap is 2.6 to Veloce, surprise. The gap's come down a tiny little bit. But Joe's now putting the pressure on, starting to get the grips now with everything. The conditions are better for him. As now, even Reynolds is fast up the race, 25.8. Now here comes Joe. Now it's got to be the move. He's got to go for it on Feisty Ted on the inside. He's going for it as Verstappen retired from the race. And there we go. Joe got the move done by Ted into 6th place, and he's got to pass these guys, which he shouldn't really need to be doing, and it is costing him time to battle away. But now he's into 6th place. You can see Basek ahead, so this is going to be 5th place next, and then from there he's got 2.6 seconds to catch Sarah Rosberg for 4th place. The podium might be out of sight, 8 seconds to P1R Brown from Rosberg. That's quite a big one to get. It's not going to be easy for Joe. Let's go to Reynolds and Jam Pancakes. They're pretty close. Reynolds is hounding Jam Pancakes now for 9th place. He's within sort of, what, half a second of him. So he's got the next DRS and the amount of attack on him. Here he comes. Needs a good run. And he's got not a bad run. So he's going to close up on him. He's too far back to make any sort of move. Is now, again, Syra, 25.4. Really setting the times alight here is the Alfa Romeo driver. So he's pushing it really hard. To get sort of back at surprise. So here comes Reynolds. He needs a good run through the last corner, and he's got a good exit. It's not really. He's 7 tenths behind, and now Ted. Now obviously Jam Pancakes will get DRS and Jason ahead. Limitless fast up race 25.0, so he's really pushing on now, trying to catch up to this group. Reynolds, Jam Pancakes, Jason. That's where he's aiming for, and. It's not out of the woods, Limitless, yet. Definitely not. Joe is now behind Bastek, so they're pretty close together. So Joe, again, right on there. He's really pushing hard now. He's pretty close to him, actually. He might not fancy it into the next corner. Next DRS, though, definitely an opportunity. He closes up a lot more in the brakes. He's a lot more confident than the Haas. So here he comes. He's got a good run through here. Does he fancy his chances into the left, right? I don't think he will. It's too risky. He's too far back. And he'll hook himself up for a good exit through the fast left, right now. So here he comes. Fast left, right. Needs to get a good exit here. He's got the DRS. He's in the slipstream. He's using the ERS he's got left remaining. Here he comes. He's closing and closing, but he's too far back. So needs to get a good last sector as Limitless gets a penalty for track extending and corner cutting. Joe now needs a good exit for the penultimate corner to take himself up to the last corner. He closes up in the braking zone now. Needs a good swooping right-hander here at the last corner and needs to hit the DRS. So here he comes in the DRS, but if anything, he isn't that close. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1, I don't think. No, he definitely isn't. He has a little look. He fakes it to the inside. Almost Alonso-esque, but no. And you know what? He's got a good run through turn 2. So here he comes. DRS deployed. And this could be the move for 5th place. On the inside, let's go Joe. And Joe is into 5th place ahead of Bastek. That's a good move of Joe. Didn't stay behind him too long and didn't get too delayed. So he's now into 5th place and now pursues after Sarah Rosberg, who's only 3 seconds up the road. So good move by Joe. Again, this is sort of a little bit unnecessary for him. I think he was in that top 5 and was doing all right in the early phases. He was struggling in those wet conditions, but he's putting a little bit of work for himself now. He's now going to close up on Rosberg and try and get into 4th place, but from there, it's going to be tough to get past P1R Brown, who's now 8 seconds ahead of him. 10 laps to go in this race. Still a lot more left in this Grand Prix, and nothing's over. There's a few more storylines to come, but things at the top looking pretty good for surprise. 2.8 in front of Sarah, and he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment. So down below, we've got, oh, there goes Reynolds on the inside of Jam Pancake. He's got that move done. Just caught the end of that, so there we go. Reynolds now into 9th, but Jam Pancakes won't settle for that. He'll be wanting to counter-attack on him. Now needs a good exit from here, does Jam Pancakes. He wants to get the move done. Joe, 24.4 faster for the race, so good luck by him. So here comes Jam Pancakes and Reynolds. He might fancy his chances. You know what, he's closing up again. He's got the DRS. Again, he's too far back into turn 1, but he will try and get a good exit for turn 2 if he can. But Reynolds looking like he's got the better run, actually, if anything, and looking pretty good here. Unless first they can go on the inside. No, Jam Pancakes can't go for the inside. Brings it a lot later. Nearly hits the rear of the Renault driver, but Reynolds is into 9th, and good move by him. And as he tries to go after Jason 97 F1. Again, everyone kind of in their groove. Close battle on circuit is obviously Jump Pancakes and Juvenile Reynolds. But you have got a group of oh my god, it's Joe, Bastek, and F-Price Ted. They're sort of within a second of each other. But Joe is caught up, is catching Rosberg very, very quickly on this hard tyre. And is that a sign that the mediums are starting to wear? Are they starting to struggle on that medium tyre? Maybe they've completed their peak stint. They're not as fast as they were before. So there's that potential that mediums are starting to struggle at this stage of the race. Joe catching Rosberg corner by corner. He's too far back to make any sort of have a DRS attempt, but it'll be Rosberg will be feeling him breathing down his neck. He's closing up, and he's really closed up in the last lap or so. Into turn one again. Oh my gosh, Joe's putting down all the pressure on the racing point. Not in DRS for now, so he'll stay behind him. He'll have a good opportunity, probably through that fast left-right section in the middle sector. The gap's really closed down now. Joe, super confident in these dry conditions. In those wet conditions, he was really struggling with the car. Jump Pancakes 3/10 behind Reynolds, so he's close with him still. Those two are still battling away, and that's allowing Limitless to come back into it and come back into the potential points paying position for him. Says evening in the pit lane. But here comes Joe now. He's right behind Rosberg. He's within half a second of him. That's right on board with the Mercedes driver. As Says evening retired from the race, so he's called it a day. We spent in the pit lane, and he was down the order anyway, so bless him, he's not had a great race for him, not a great start to the season. But here comes Joe now, DRS activated, slipstream, DRS, everything he's got now, goes to the right hand side, does he? He stays behind Rosberg if anything, and you know what, he doesn't go for it. He didn't want to risk it at all on Rosberg, so he's going to wait patiently for the next DRS, which is going to come out the last corner. Needs a good run through here. There it comes, good exit needed by... oh my god, it's Joe, and you know what, he's got a good run here, a little bit of oversteer, but he's got on the power. Is he close enough to make a move onto the inside? You know what, I don't think he is, he's going to stay back for now, so he isn't going to go for it. It's going to be the next corner after this one, so can he get a good run on Rosberg? He's got a little bit wide actually, and I don't think he's close, but if he goes to the inside, no he does not go for the inside. Rosberg locking up, going a little bit deeper. But again, Joe not able to get the move done, and they're losing time. Rosberg is 10.2 behind P1R Brown now, actually. This is not ideal. He wants to crack on with this. He needs to get past Rosberg if he wants to get on that podium. You know what? I think the podium might be actually out of sight here because it's 7 laps. To catch 10 seconds isn't easy. Again, he needs to get a good exit for here. He's putting Rosberg under all sorts of pressure, but whilst he's doing this, he's causing himself to lose lots of lap time. He's catching once again through the fast left, right again. He's a good run through here. Let's see if he gets a good exit. He's not a bad run, but he's a bit further back than he'd like to be. He catches Rosberg. Looks to the inside. He's gone for it on the inside, but he's too far back again. He took the bell out of that one. It's now going to be the run into turn 1, but again, it's not easy to make that move stick into turn 1. It might have to be the next DRS after that. So again, all this battling, all this sitting behind Rosberg is costing him lap time here. DRS once again is close. Is it enough? I don't think it is in turn 1. It's definitely not. No, he's not close enough, so he's going to have to wait again. Try and get a good exit, nail him into the next one. You know what? It's close now. Here he comes now. DRS activated, ERS deployment. Goes to the left-hand side. Rosberg defends really nicely. Here comes Joe around the outside. Going around the outside. No, he cannot. Rosberg places his car well in. Joe nearly loses the car on the curb on the left, but he stays where he is. A fantastic defence by Rosberg. He stays in 4th place for now. And Joe's got to be having a headache. He's got to be thinking, oh my god, am I going to get stuck behind this guy for the whole race? Because Rosberg is putting his car in the right places. Again, too far back to make a move into this next corner. It's too risky. He's going to have to hook it up out of the left, right. You know what? He's close now. Rosberg is looking very vulnerable once again. Joe is closing to the right. He'll try and cut back out of the left, right here. So here comes left, right, fast, left. And now right. He's a good exit here. And you know what? He's not close enough. It's not enough. I don't think it is anyway. Or is it enough? He's closing. He's going to go for it on the inside, is he? No, he's not. He's too far back once again. Now through the right-hander, lifts it off in 5th gear. Now needs a good exit through the plausible corner and the last corner. He breaks a lot later than Rosberg. Rosberg clearly struggling on that medium, and Joe needs to utilise this. Needs a good exit here. He's got a good run, and look at that. Look at that, Rosberg. He gets out of the DRS and out of the slipstream, but look at this. Joe is closing on the inside into turn 1. He's got that move done, or has he got it? Rosberg on the inside for turn 2, but it's Joe around the outside. Will have the DRS on the inside, and I think that's the move done. And Rosberg will try and come back at him, but he won't at all. And it's now Joe into 4th place finally. Gets the move done on Rosberg, and it's a great tussle between these two. Great drivers on the grid. Some fantastic stuff. Great battling. Super respect. But Joe really had to work for that. Rosberg made him really work for that move. And there you go. Joe into 4th place. Gets released. But he's 11.4 behind P1R Brown. And P1R Brown is looking superb and looking really on for 3rd place here. But it's not over until it's over. 5 seconds. It's 5 more laps to go for Joe. And it's not over yet. But it is going to be an almighty charge to catch 2 seconds, pretty much a lap on P1R Brown and get that done. I think that's going to be out of reach for Joe. Limitless into 10th place now, so he's got ahead of Jam Pancakes, and he's close behind Reynolds. So again, 9th place isn't out of it, and I don't think even 8th place is out of it for Limitless. Can Rosberg attack Joe back? I don't think he can. That gap, he will be in DRS. But again, he'll close back up again, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move at all. He's quite far back here. Look, everyone's behind. Bastek and Vice Ted haven't dropped off. And if anything, Bastek is closed on Rosberg. So Rosberg might have his hands full with Bastek towards the end, because Bastek's on that harder tyre in comparison to Rosberg's medium. So that medium might be starting to lose its edge. If anything, Joe hasn't bolted from Rosberg yet, so Rosberg's still within DRS, so you want to try and keep within that DRS if he can, in order to keep ahead of Bastek. Looking behind, Limitless and Reynolds looking pretty close here, so Limitless looking to get into a higher points paying position. He'll be absolutely upset with how this race has turned out. Qualified on pole position. He was round at turn 3 of the race. So here comes Limitless. Really got superior grip on the inside. Does he go for on the inside? He's tried it and he's made contact and he's gonna lose positions to the Haas, and that's not what you need to be doing. You don't need to be going for a desperate move like that at all, and that's now lost him further lap time that he doesn't need to be losing. He doesn't need to be making mistakes like that. It's not on. He doesn't need to be doing that. Here comes Limitless again. He's going to have to re-overtake Jam Pancakes again. He doesn't want to be doing this round the outside. He'd be ruined with frustration as Pancakes pushes him off, and he has every right to defend his position, but Limitless, and move into that corner. You have a DRS zone coming up, mate. You don't need to go for that. Limitless once again will have to go for it once again. He's in the slipstream of Jam Pancakes, but he's too far back surely, and 8th place is looking a little bit more distant than it was once before. There he comes. He's a good exit for here, and he's got the good run, I think. He's definitely on. You know what? He's quite far back, actually. Does he go for it on? No, he does not. He's wasting time in traffic. He needs to get on with it. 8th place was close, and it was definitely closer than it was, and now he's lost that, and he's losing sight of that 8th place. He's definitely faster than the Jam Pancakes, but he's got to sit behind him. It's no opportunity for him yet. This is next corner coming up is where he made that error. This corner here isn't easy to overtake her, and these wider cars, you can't fit 2 into 1 there. You have an XDRS zone coming up. That's definitely. It was close, but it's not worth it. And that he's wasted a lot of time there. He's now got a good run on Jam Pancakes. He'll have to go for it again. It's now Bastek and Rosberg battling away, but Bastek stays in 6th place for now. And Limitless hasn't been able to get past Pancakes again. So here comes Bastek on Rosberg. So this is for 5th place, and Rosberg defends right to the right-hand side, trying to defend as much as he can. But Bastek is really close now, but he won't go for it into turn 1. Surely not, definitely not. And I'll look to try and get a good run out of turn 2. No, Rosberg's made a mistake here, so here comes Bastek here, looking much more superior on his hard, but Rosberg will have the inside for turn 3. Rosberg will try and brake a lot later. He will brake a lot later. He'll defend, but it'll be no use because Bastek's running the outside on the inside, but Rosberg running around the outside, and Rosberg is now going to have the inside with a flat right-hander, and he's got that move done. He stays in position for now. Rosberg, fantastic defending. Had great defending with Joe and great defending with Bastek, but is it going to be enough to stay in 5th place? It's going to be a mighty effort for that to happen. Here he comes. Bastek around the outside, but it's going to be Rosberg on the inside. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Bastek, I think, on the outside, on the inside. But Rosberg will try and stay within DRS activation if he can. He'll try and get a better run out of the fast left-right section. But look at that behind. Look at Vice Ted. He's right behind this bunch. It's a three-way battle for 5th place. But you know what? Vice Ted is going to have a chance on Rosberg. He's got a better run. Looks to the inside. Does he go for it on the inside? He's going to dive bomb it on the inside. And he's made contact with Rosberg. He's gone round. And that's a risky move to make into that corner. And yeah, that's not a risk he wanted to take. And you know what? This might benefit Limitless, who gets into 9th place, does he? And now Vice Ted is only into 10th, and he's dropped back after that move. So that was risky. And again, I'm sure that would be one for the shows to look at towards the end. That was interesting to see. I think Rosberg didn't do anything wrong. I think Vice Ted broke a lot later and kind of went into Rosberg there. But again, I'm only seeing from what I'm seeing from the sort of TV cameras there. That's unlucky for Feisty Ted. But let's turn our heads back to Rosberg and Bastek, because they're still pretty close together. They're sort of within a second of each other. As Mortis got past Reynolds in that pit again, so it looks like Reynolds is going for that DHL fastest lap. Limits in 9th. He's still got 8th on. He's got eyes on 8th. But he could have been 7th, because Jason wasn't far ahead earlier on if he didn't make the mistake when he was battling away with Reynolds. But I'm sure Limits is frustrated with that, because Reynolds is pitted now and he's wasted time on kind of spinning out on there. Let's turn our heads back to Vlog's surprise. We haven't seen much of him for a bit, and he's starting his last lap, and it's been a very good drive by him. He took the lead at lap 1, and it's been a pretty plain sailing drive by him. You know, he took the lead, went longer on his, and didn't switch over to the intermediates too early compared to others, and it worked out for him. You know, I thought maybe it was a good move by Syra, but in the end, it's not been ideal. But Syra has been keeping Surprise honest. 2.7 the gap. It's under 3 seconds. It's been like that all race. These two have been consistently trading times throughout the whole Grand Prix, and I think we're gonna have an almighty championship battle. Joe's made mistakes today. He's in 4th. You know, it's unlucky for him. It could have been better for him in the end. You know, he didn't quite adapt to those wet conditions, but it will still be a great day for Mercedes, because they're definitely going to be, after Australia, leading the Constructors' Championship. Fast left right now for Surprise for the final time, and it's been a textbook Grand Prix for him. Made the right calls at the right time. It's driven a fantastic race, no mistakes. And here he comes now, rounding up the final sector. And he's going to be starting his debut in ILR. Has been a fantastic debut by him. And rounding up the penultimate corner now. He's going to take the first victory of the season on Xbox on F1 2019. Round the final corner. And Veloci Surprise runs it to the line to win Australia, the first race of the season. Congratulations to him. Syra in 2nd place. A well-deserved 2nd place. And a great race by him. P1R Brown definitely been a great watch by him. Got past Joe when Joe was struggling, and he's going to take the podium to start off his season in the right way for Williams, across the line. And P1R Brown in 3rd place on that medium tyre, did a fantastic job making that last. Joe in the end will be disappointed with 4th, but it's still good points for him, and it's good points for Mercedes. Bastek now runs it to line in 5th. Rosberg's made an error somewhere. He's down in 7th place. Jason comes to the line to finish 6th place on the grid. Rosberg 7th in the end. Must be struggling on that medium tire towards the end. Jampeg is 8th. Limitless in 9th. He'll be disappointed. And 10th place for Ted. Zelchi in 11th. More so now. We'll run up the final corner. And not an ideal race for him. And it comes across the line. For 12th place in the end. Reynolds were looking for his fast lap of the race. On the soft tyre. It's not far behind. He's really going for it here. Let's see if he can go and get fast up for the race. Round the final corner. Here he comes, runs it to the line. Fast lap, yes or no? Yes, it is! Gets the DHL, 22.1. And now BRL, João Pedro, in the final position on the grid. And there you go, that's him in 14th. And that has been your Australian Grand Prix. And it's been a race of a bit mixed bag, not a great race. We didn't have a lot of overtaking in the wet. Obviously, it's hard to overtake in that wet. In those wet conditions. But in the dry, we had a few more battles in the DRS when the DRS became activated. But it's your winner, is Vlog's Surprise, to start off the season in the way he's wanted to. He started off the season with a win. He started his ILR debut with a win. And it's looking good. Him and Syra looking close for the championship, and there's definitely, Joe's had his bad luck today. Joe's definitely, again, not out of it at all. He has only one race, but surprise, has started off the season with a bang, and he's looking good. He can carry this momentum forward, and he's definitely well deserved. He made the calls at the right time, was consistent, and he made the right calls at the right time when switching over to the right tyre. But for large surprise, is your winner in Australia, the first winner of ILR Season 6 for Tier 1. Syra in second place, and P1R Brown in third. Oh my god, it's Joe in fourth place, and TSR Bastek in fifth. And Jason in sixth place, really good driver for him, very consistent indeed, kept out of trouble. Sarah Rosberg in seventh, Jan Pancakes in eighth, and Terra Limitless style pole sitter in ninth place. He'll be deeply disappointed with that. Feist Ted in 10th, CRGA Stelchi in 11th, outside the points, more so in 12th. Reynolds in 13th, gets the fast up the race, and BRL and Jao Pedro in 14th, SSR Jao Paolo in 15th, and Mitchell, Stazzy Evening in 17th, Verstappen in 18th, and MVP Zero was our first DNF, and is obviously not classified in 19th position. But we'll get our top 3 in for the podium interviews. Let's get our top 3 in. Well done, fellas. Just trying to get surprise in, if I can. There we are. Well done, surprise, mate. Great drive. Right, let's kick off podium interview. So, for largely surprise, first win of the season, mate. Kickstarts season 6 in the right way. And how was that race for you? You made the right calls in the right time, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a good race. It was exciting with the intermediate conditions. I didn't really think I'd have the pace of Syrah in the intermediates, but I did. And then I'd say I made the perfect call to go onto the tries. I think it was the perfect lap to pit. So yeah, and then from there it was just keeping it consistent, don't make mistakes. The track didn't really get to a good point up until the end of the race, so it was quite tricky on the tries when the track wasn't in optimal conditions. But yeah, it was fun, and I managed to secure the fastest lap as well, just as a little bonus. So yeah.
Well done, mate. Yeah, super drive, and obviously you're probably one of the favourites going into this season in terms of pace. Obviously, your teammate Joe having done it in fourth place. I mean, and obviously Limitless was knocked out of the contention earlier on. Do you think would you have missed a battle with potentially Limitless as well alongside Syra as well?
Yeah, definitely. I heard he got taken out by someone, but also
Yeah.
Joe as well. He just switched to a new wheel, and he hadn't practiced
Yeah.
it wet at all. So definitely watch out for Joe all throughout the season, as well as Syrah and JD. I definitely think they'll be my main rivals.
Yeah, and it was pretty close between you and Syra all race in terms of fastest lap of the race. You guys were trading laps throughout the whole race, and that was exciting to watch too. Was that fun for you in the cockpit as well in terms of driving around, really trying to go for it every single lap to try and because the gap was pretty stabilized throughout the whole race.
Yeah, it was actually really fun because obviously the track was drying as well. So pretty much everyone who crossed that line was going faster and faster, and it was about who could literally just push as much as they can without overdoing it. Because obviously the track wasn't at the optimal temperature, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and looking ahead to Bahrain, I mean, again, same aim as normal, be going for that victory. How do you fancy your chances at Bahrain?
Pace is good. Um, just gotta make sure I get that quali right because I slightly bottled it today in qualifying. So
Mm.
but Bahrain has normally been a good track for me. So yeah, aiming for the win as always.
Yeah, well done, mate, and what a great start to the season for you, and obviously Mercedes as well with Joe in fourth, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of battles with yourself and your teammate throughout the whole season, and Sarah and JD, and plenty of others as well. So well done, mate.
Yep.
Great start to the season.
Cheers.
Syra, mate, second place, close with surprise all race as I said, and trading lap times throughout the whole Grand Prix. How was that from your perspective? You had a good start and you were battling surprise throughout the first lap, but in the end, how was that for you? Second place. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result because my practice for this Grand Prix wasn't very good. I mean, I think almost every practice I was just spinning and crashing at some point, so I wasn't very optimistic to this race. And hour before, just practice wet, did a good lap in TT, and just was praying for a wet race today. And fortunately, it just happened. And in the start, just had an incredible start, jumping into positions. I think it just pushed Joe wide in the grass, so apologies for him if that really happened. And I was just trying to push as fast as I can to open a gap to the cars behind because, in my opinion, it was almost impossible to pass Prix and try to win. And he's the man to beat since the end of 2018, since the qualifiers of the Pro Draft. So, to me, finishing second place is almost like the win of the best of the rest. So, I'm pretty happy with the result.
And in general, your pace throughout the whole race, your pace was strong, obviously, throughout the whole race. I mean, how much confidence does that give you for the rest of the season, knowing that you were trading lap times with, you know, arguably one of the fastest drivers in this game? How much confidence can you get from that?
Yeah, one of my problems in this track was my left front tire was just overheating every single lap in the end of sector 3. So, this cost time. And I think
Mm.
he's something about only of this track. And fortunately, in the hard tires, it didn't ruin me because it wasn't overheating because it's a hard tire compound, so it takes more temperature to overheat. And that was just make fun the dump conditions because if you don't have optimal points in the track and it was just drying slowly and it was hard, but it was fun at the same time. And this is good to the rest of the season. I just tried to get into his pace the whole race, and he just built some gap in the final lap to make the fastest lap of the race. And it was good to see that. I'm pretty happy with that, and just make me build the confidence to the rest of the season.
Nice, mate. And also, your switch over to the intermediates. Do you think you did that to the slick tires rather? Was that the right call for you, the lap earlier than surprise, or would you have done it a lap later in the end?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was the right call because the DRS has been activated in this lap, so I just decided to put in an emergency. I was afraid to change from mediums or hards, but I just know that to go to the mediums in the end, I think you should pay lap 10 or lap 11, so I decided to pit to hards. And when I left the pit, it was so hard to control because I was just locking the brakes every single corner because the hard tire don't have optimal temperature. And it's just a harder tire to get some optimal temperature. So it was pretty hard to make some pace in the initial lap. So I think it was because of that that Surprise just gained a massive gap. But I think it was the right call to pit, the right lap.
Super. And going ahead and looking ahead to Bahrain next week, how are you fancying your chances? What are you aiming for? Again, I'm sure you'll be going for that victory, but how do you kind of judge in terms of your pace at Bahrain? What are you thinking in terms of pace? Is it a strong track for you?
Well, Bahrain, at least in 2018, was a strong track to me. In this track, I just felt much more difficult. I just got a good time in TT. I can fight one or two times because it was the only mode which I just played in Bahrain. But in the next week, I'm just going to make some work on this track and see what space I can build, ERS management, strategy, all the stuff. But I think I'm very confident because it's a track that I like.
Well done, mate, and a great start to the season for you, and I'm sure you're going to be in championship contention for the rest of the season. So well done to you, mate. Great start to the season.
Thank you.
P1R Brown, third place. Had a good battle with Joe throughout that race as well, and you're on that medium tyre rather than the hard. How did that go for you, mate? interesting strategy choice there.
The mediums are definitely not it. I can tell you that. They just went off instantly. At about lap 20, they just went off. But other than that, I had a good battle with Joe for like the first 6 laps, I think. And then the switchover. The switchover is quite different to the other games. It just dries up a bit quicker. I haven't really done it on this game, so I was just trying to adjust to that. So P3 is not one of my favourite tracks, but I'm happy with the result to start the season.
Yeah, definitely. And pace looked pretty good as well in qualified, didn't it? I mean, you're definitely there. So in terms of the next few races, obviously, are you trying to? You're sort of what I think you qualified 2 and a bit tenths off pole in the end. So pace is definitely there. Looking forward, obviously, the aim is to try and improve that pace and get even higher up. Bahrain's next. What are you thinking? Is that one of the stronger circuits?
Bahrain is one of my good tracks, but it's just trying to find that extra bit of time to everyone else. I think I'll struggle a little bit, but hopefully I can just try and get myself at the front-ish.
Good, mate, yeah. And obviously, looking down the championship in terms of championship contention, I'm guessing you're obviously the one aim is to do and to be in championship contention for yourself. I mean, looking forward even after Bahrain, I mean, what are you looking in terms of the first half of the season? What sort of tracks favour you more than others?
Probably Baku is probably going to be the worst one for me. But
Yeah.
other than that, end of the season is probably top 5 finishes where I'm aiming for. I mean, the league's super competitive, so it's going to be quite tricky just to get 5th place in the championship.
Yeah. Well done today, mate. Great drive and on that medium tyre, and coming home in 3rd place is a great reward for that. So well done once again, and a great start to the season for you as well. So that's been ILR1 for Australia, the first race of the season. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, and we'll be back next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the round 2 of the season.